Welcome to Industry Insights, brought to you by Prosumer Connect. My name is Shaun Marshall. I'm the director and founder of Prosumer Connect. We're fortunate again to welcome back our resident expert, Mr. Garth, Klerk, the CEO of the ICB, Insurance Crime Bureau. Thank you very much for joining us once again, Garth.
Thank you for having me, Shaun.
Great pleasure. Today we're uncovering a topic I think not many of us are too familiar with. Cloned vehicles. It sounds very ominous, to be honest with you, Garth. Can you explain a bit to us what cloned vehicles are and how the average consumer these days fall into the traps of falling for these vehicles known as cloned vehicles?
Sure. No, thank you, Shaun. So I'll try and keep it as simplistic as possible because it is a little bit of a technical discussion, but simplistically, it's where a syndicate will steal a car. I won't use a brand name, but let's say a syndicate steals a white car. They don't steal it so that they can drive it, Shaun. They want to make money out of this vehicle.
Okay.
So they steal this white car and now they have to change the identity of this vehicle so that if it's driving down the road, the owner of that vehicle doesn't go, hey, that's my car. So they want to change the identity of the vehicle. So what they then have to do is they have to go and get an identity of another vehicle which has typically been scrapped. So they will go buy a scrap vehicle, they'll go either to an auction house or to a scrapyard, and they will find a vehicle that is a wreck or a vehicle which is still what we call code 2, which means it's allowed to be repaired and driven on the road for a very good price. They take that vehicle, they park it in the back of their garden or back of their scrapyard, and they take the paper identity of that purchased vehicle and they impose it now on the stolen vehicle. And it's as simplistic as that. So what they will do is they will take the genuine identity and mask the stolen identity. So that now when that same white vehicle drives down the road and it's got a number plate Alpha Bravo Charlie, it is a genuine licensed number plate. They change the VIN number, the engine number, the chassis number. They even change the little sticker. If you open your front passenger door and you see there's an information plate there, they even change that sticker.
Wow.
Now there's a number of ways that you can see if you're an expert, but as a simple man on the streets, one of the easiest ways is open your driver's door. You will see there's that little information plate there.
Okay.
Either scratch it. If it's a solid plate, leave it. It's probably genuine. Don't do anything else to it. But if it's a sticker, contact us. Contact your nearest police station. Or take your acetone that you use for your nail polish on.
Okay.
And just take a little bit of acetone on a cotton wool and rub it on there. And if it's a sticker, it will fade or rub off.
Wow.
Again, contact us, contact your SAP station. And that's what syndicates are doing, Shaun, in order for them to sell that vehicle into the second-hand market.
Okay. So they actually, once they've masked these vehicles, they then put it back into circulation, second-hand dealers, and they start selling the vehicle then.
100%. So, I mean, if I may just give you a little bit of context, we lose via hijacking or theft around 60,000 vehicles a year. So you're talking proper numbers here.
Yes.
20-odd thousand of those are hijacked vehicles because some of the luxury vehicles are becoming more difficult to steal, so it's easier to hijack them because then I get the set of keys with the vehicle. And around 40,000 odd are stolen vehicles. Again, around 20,000 of those 60,000 leave South Africa.
Okay.
And they go into neighboring countries, they go all the way up into Africa. The 40,000 that remain, again, I'm not driving 40,000 cars, I want to sell them.
Sure.
Okay. So in order for me to sell them, I need to legitimize that vehicle. And that's when the buying of a scrap vehicle, the buying of a legitimate identity, and getting a professional to change the ID, the VIN, the chassis, etc., comes into play. So again, Shaun, what comes out here is that there is a responsibility on the public to ask a couple questions when you're buying a vehicle. Okay. We have lists of thousands of cloned vehicles that have been stolen, that have had their identities changed. you are not able to interact on the NATIS system, which is the National Registry of all vehicles that are on the road, if your vehicle has been cloned, and we've identified it.
So, but Garth, I think many of our consumers would ask the question, if I buy a car from a second-hand dealer, surely that car's gone through the vehicle registration again, it's gone for a test again. So it's all fair and well to ask me to be on the lookout for this, but buying a vehicle from a second-hand car dealer, I trust that authorities has had a look at these people, and people more experienced than myself has had a look at the car. How do they get past this step?
It's such a relevant, and thank you for that question, Shaun, because again, it comes down to the concept of I want to trust you. You're a salesperson, you're selling me a product. When you say a more experienced person has had a look at that vehicle, you're slightly mistaken. Because the person that has had a look at that vehicle has a financial interest in selling you that vehicle.
Yes.
You're quite right. We would like to put ourselves in a position where we can trust a roadworthy certificate.
Okay.
We could trust the fact that that roadworthy would indicate the condition that our vehicle is in.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we can't always. And I'm saying not always because I don't want to generalize, but there are a number of issues in the second-hand dealership environment where, as a consumer, spending a lot of money, whether it's 50,000, 100,000 or R1 million, it's a lot of money to me. Take one extra step and get the identity of that vehicle verified. There are a number of professional bodies that will come out and inspect the vehicle. They will give you an opinion on the condition of that vehicle. They will put the vehicle up on a lift. They'll take a look underneath, make sure it's not held together by cable ties. It will cost you.
Sure.
But in the long run, it'll give you peace of mind.
Absolutely.
And then that way you know that the vehicle you're driving is safe, that your family is safe in it, that you're safe in it, and that your investment is safe.
Sure.
And you're not going to have that vehicle taken away from you because it's an illegal vehicle.
Great stuff. So Garth, just on that point, I hope we can get a couple of these organizations or businesses that can go out and check for our consumers, and we'll then gladly share it, in line with this video, just so that people know who to contact when they need that check done. Is there any other checks that you need to do? Is these vehicles, when they are sold, are they average price? Are they on retail value of the vehicle? Or are these vehicles generally sold at a high speed, which means they come at a great bargain? Or what other signs are there for you to say, ooh, let me have a look, this might be too good to be true, or something's wrong, or amiss?
So there's no one size fits all in answering that question, but quite often the people that we have interviewed, when we first discussed with them when they transacted to buy the vehicle, one of their first comments was, gee, I thought it was too good a deal. I thought it was too good to be true. Now, if a deal looks too good to be true, it often is. And, it's that typical scam over the phone. You won R1 million, or you've got a relative in the UK who inherited £1 million, rich uncle. If it's too good to be true, it genuinely probably is. And that's where, as consumers, we have to be suspicious. We have to be aware. If something is priced below the market value of that asset, it's likely that the quality of that asset is also subpar.
Absolutely.
And that's where you have to ask questions. So if you're getting a good deal, long term, what is the effect of that good deal going to be? So Shaun, there's no distinctive checks. There are a lot of bodies, as I say, we don't like to mention any specific ones. There are a lot of bodies, as I say, that do vehicle inspections. There are apps that you can go online to check the financial status of the vehicle, to check the history of the vehicle. Look around.
Okay.
It's going to cost you a little bit up front.
Sure.
But it will give you that peace of mind or that comfort that you're actually driving an asset which is hopefully genuine.
So Garth, let's talk about that, because say I'm one of these victims. I've now purchased this vehicle, too good to be true. Now, I've heard some horrific stories, because it seems like, sometimes I get stopped by the police. Some of the people that I've spoken to, all of a sudden the police realizes that this vehicle is a cloned vehicle, and horrific stories of the SAPS members then obviously just taking the vehicle from you because it's a cloned vehicle.
It's tragic but true. Unfortunately, the vehicle that you are now driving or that you are in possession of is a stolen vehicle. Let's put it in that case, it's my vehicle, you're driving my vehicle.
Wow.
How you came in possession of that vehicle is irrelevant to me, it's still my asset. A lot of the time, those claims have been paid for by insurance companies, by finance houses, and those vehicles now belong to somebody else.
Okay.
So if you are found on the side of the road in a roadblock or in an operation looking for cloned vehicles, you're found to be in a possession of that vehicle, it's most likely 99% chance that that vehicle is going to be repossessed on the side of the road at the shopping center, wherever it might be, because it is a stolen vehicle.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people go, well, that's not fair. So sometimes it's just not fair.
Yeah.
But remember that when that vehicle was initially stolen, it was taken from an innocent party. Sometimes lives are lost in hijackings, and hijackings can be quite violent. So we have to be a lot more astute as consumers in South Africa. We have to ask those questions. Sometimes we have to look for third-party assistance. We have to get an additional party just to verify the transaction that we're entering into.
Absolutely.
And that's always our recommendation, is just ask questions, look for additional information on your transaction.
Absolutely. So Garth, if I can just ask you again, and I trust you've become accustomed to this, just to highlight again those key points for the consumer out there again. What's the key things that they need to look out for? How do they protect themselves to make sure that they don't fall victim to one of these scams?
Shaun, again, it comes down to don't just naturally trust a person that you're entering into a transaction with. There are a lot of syndicates out there that are looking to take possession of your assets or of your money. Ask questions, examine the transaction. If it's too good to be true, ask more questions. That's your asset that you buy. It's your responsibility as a consumer to just be a little bit more astute. Unfortunately, we cannot always rely on the other party to be honest. Therefore, we have to be aware. And that's where I think that organizations like yourself are going to do a fantastic job in getting people to think that one step further.
Absolutely.
Being aware of the risks that are out there facing the consumer. Ask questions, be astute.
Garth, one big message that I'm receiving, and please advise whether I'm misinterpreting that message, is know who you do business with. So when you purchase an item from somebody, do so from somebody that is registered, that is qualified, that's well known in the industry and those kind of things. Because I'm assuming many of these scams are happening with businesses that change from one day to the next day. These business names continuously change. I can't imagine that it's businesses that's been operational for 20, 25 years or something like that, right?
Sure, it's an interesting discussion and a point in itself. We've got a lot of really good quality second-hand vehicle dealers out there that are no name brands, so it's not a dealer branded second-hand dealer. And in no way are we saying you mustn't deal with them. There are a lot of quality players out there that are in the second-hand vehicle industry.
Okay.
But you might want to ask another question. You might want to get a different report. And then, what we're saying is if you're buying a vehicle online, be very careful. Because online is an absolute quagmire of issues.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Once again, guys, I hope that's educated you a bit on cloned vehicles. It's a large topic. We can spend 10 to 1 hours discussing this, and I know if I don't stop to Garth, he will continue for hours to come. So once again, Garth, thank you very much for joining us. As always, it's a great pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.